back to Visual Learners Channel's VL Extras, where we're drawing GPT-5's epic glow-up. Grab your sketch pads, this AI's got swagger. People have been speculating about when OpenAI would drop its latest flagship model, with competitors like DeepSeek, Claude, Qwen, and Grok releasing new models like it's a tech fashion show. OpenAI seemed stranded, lagging behind. Rumors swirled about a GPT 4.5 pit stop, but wait no more. OpenAI unleashed GPT-5 on August 7, 2025, and it's not messing around. Sam Altman claims it's flirting with superintelligence, a PhD-level brain in your pocket. Some ex-users are side-eyeing the charts, where GPT-5's bars look beefier than GPT-4's but have quirky numbers. OpenAI swears going back to GPT-4 after GPT-5 is like ditching a spaceship for a bicycle. GPT-5 promises leaps in reasoning, coding, writing, health, and multimodal magic, but can it outshine the competition? Let's draw the story. Picture an AI circus, GPT-4 juggling text, GPT-4o tossing images, and O-series solving math like nerdy acrobats. OpenAI said, enough, and dropped GPT-5, a unified beast that does it all, and it's making big waves in the rapidly moving AI industry. Launched August 7, 2025 via livestream, GPT-5 blends speed, reasoning, and multimodal powers text, images, voice, even video. Sam Altman calls it a PhD-level expert for coding, writing, and health queries, leaving GPT-4 in the dust. It's got a 400K token context window, think a novel-length memory, and scores 74.9% on SWE bench coding, doubling GPT-4o's 30.8%. Free users get it, unlike past models, but with a catch. Only 10 messages per hour for standard GPT-5 and 1 per day for GPT-5 thinking. What about for ChatGPT Plus users? It's 160 messages per 3 hours, double the launch limit. But is it really super intelligent? Let's talk about the tech behind it.
Here's why GPT-5 is a game changer, and the last point is the most important. OpenAI says it's the best model they've ever made, comparing it to a PhD level in all fields. It's especially good at agentic behaviors, so tool use basically, and coding. It's also another reasoning model, but here they've trained it specifically to use more tokens when the task is complicated and fewer tokens when the task is simple. They optimized this behavior and calculated it saved around 50 to 80% in token for most queries. So they really worked hard on optimizing the token amount for each query. It also has the biggest context window yet for OpenAI models, which is 400,000 token. It's really a big overdue upgrade. It beats O3 and O4 on all benchmarks, and especially SWE bench, which is for coding. Just like O3, it processes images and text, but only generate text. They also worked super hard on factuality, so reducing hallucination. All of these improvements are thanks to a much better training process with reinforcement learning from human feedback. So really training the model for real use cases rather than training on a fixed dataset. And the most important and nicest update is that they reduced the over-enthusiastic tone, and even more importantly, they reduced the amount of emojis. That's the game changer. And even cooler, it's available for everyone to use, even the free tier. Right now, you can use it, you can try it. They also released GPT-5 Mini and Nano, which you might even prefer in fact. Follow the page because tomorrow I'm covering all three and when you should use each.
GPT-5's unified design is slick, but the real magic is in its brain. Let's talk about its superpowers. Of course, all these updates don't mean much if the models perform worse than previous iterations. On this note, OpenAI is eager to show that the latest model doesn't disappoint. On measures of math mastery, the model scores a remarkable 100% accuracy on the AIME 2025 competition with Python tools. Without tools, GPT-5 jumps from 71.0% to 99.6% when in thinking mode. For science, GPT-5 scores 85.7% on PhD-level GPQA science questions in thinking mode and 89.4% with Python tools. GPT-4o lags at 70.1%. For coding strength on SWE bench verified, GPT-5 hits 74.9% with thinking mode, more than double GPT-4o's 30.8%. Across multiple programming languages, or polyglot, it scores 88%, up over 60 percentage points with reasoning engaged. Reliability-wise, AI models still suffer, But the GPT-5 models show hallucination rates under 1% on open prompts and 1.6% on hard medical cases, and traffic error rates are cut from 11.6% to 4.8% with thinking mode.
Aren't we then working for that thing? Like, that's what I start to wonder. Like, if it's the smartest thing in the room.
GPT-5 is the smartest thing. GPT-5 is smarter than us in almost every way, and yet here we are.
OpenAI launching its latest new model, GPT-5, offering faster performance, fewer hallucinations, improved coding capabilities, and customizable personalities. I've been playing with it for the last 24 hours. Joining us right now is the man who co-founded the company, CEO Sam Altman. Sam, it's great to see you, sir.
Good to see you, too. Thanks for having me.
We've been trying to build, by the way, an app all morning. I'm in GitHub right now trying to build Joe Kernan an app unsuccessfully.
How's it going?
I think you guys have done the right thing so far. I mean, I think that the code looks good. The problem is I can't get it to actually effectively play for me, if you will. I got to do it in GitHub. I was actually trying to get OpenAI to actually build me a way to play it effectively in the browser, but I'm not there yet. So I still got.
We'll help you with
work
that. I can do that.
But help us understand the distinction between where you think ChatGPT 5 is today versus where we were just even 48 hours ago.
Yeah, so you said a bunch of things. The model's smarter, it's faster, it's more intuitive, it's more useful in a bunch of ways. One of the biggest things, though, is it's an integrated single experience. We have built a system that can answer easy questions quickly. It can think for a long time and answer hard questions. And it's there's just one thing called GPT-5 now instead of the long list of models we used to have. It's much better for businesses and enterprises. The coding in particular is something that people have been really waiting for a great model for. So we're seeing super strong enterprise adoption of this. And yeah.
GPT-5's defining move is consolidation. Instead of offering a lineup of separate models like GPT-4, GPT-4o, and the O-series reasoning engines, OpenAI has rolled everything into a unified architecture that adapts automatically to the task at hand. This reduces decision fatigue for developers, keeps performance consistent, and allows the model to allocate computing resources dynamically, going deep when a problem requires it, or staying lightweight for simpler queries. The unified design isn't just putting old wine into new bottles. At the heart of this unified system are several key components. GPT-5 main is the core model component, engineered for speed and efficiency, primarily handling general queries and conversational interactions. In my own tests, I can tell you that it is indeed much faster than previous model releases. Going beyond the core is GPT-5 thinking, designed for deeper, more deliberate processing, tackling complex problems that necessitate multi-step logic and extensive analysis. This is a more powerful evolutionary step beyond the O3 and O4 series, focused on more complex and difficult problems.
This is basically the age of oracles. We can now interact with intelligence, and we can just ask anything we want. My name is Pietro. I'm a designer and developer, and I'm the CEO of Magic Path, and it's a design tool with AI at the center. I have this philosophy that nothing is real until it's in people's hands. What I really care about is the interaction. The special thing about GPT-5, it is the closest model that I experienced to actually get your ideas. One of the many applications that I built with GPT-5 when I was testing the model, I asked for basically a camera app where I can draw in real time in the air, and he has sense of my hand movement. We have the canvas in a camera. We have our hand tracking movement, which is pretty crazy. You can just resize the size of the brush just by doing this. When I open my palm, and if I close the palm, the palette goes down. GPT-5 just did this in one shot. And I think in particular with GPT-5, the things that really struck me the first time that I use it is that innate sense of creativity and taste. I asked GPT-5 to create a beautiful infinite canvas app where I can drag and drop photos, text file, and website all in one file. It was the choose of spacing, typography, rhythm, the framing. It was really like I was talking to a designer. A lot of times you can be a great engineer, but you might suck at debugging. GPT-5 excels at it. It actually returns a larger amount of code compared to other models, and it's actually coherent code. And when you combine speed, intelligence, reasoning, tool calling, understanding, everybody now is going to get access to the best intelligence. It's going to be great to see like what people are going to be able to do with this.
Well, thank you so much for coming here today. We brought you all here to test GPT-5. You're one of the first people externally to see it and to get your hands on it. Your first task here on Dev Island is to open up ChatGPT with Canvas and switch to GPT-5 thinking and create a personal website.
Oh, it's dark and pink, but it is quite girly, so happy with that. Yours is cuter.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What?
Let's see what you got. I said Mac OS 9 themes. Yeah.
Nice prompting.
It actually has some windows here. This is one-shotted. That's actually pretty cool.
I've got it to build me a drawing app where I can draw
You're
draw
already
the
on
mouse,
step 5.
and it gives me an SVG of the drawing as it goes.
All right, let's move on to individual testing. You're welcome to test the model, do whatever you want with it, build your own app with it, put it in your existing apps if you like, see how it works for you. Please have at it.
There's the legendary ball test. It's a fun test of physics and its knowledge of Python and like weird game mechanics. Yeah, that's one of the best ball tests I've seen to date.
So, I've got my classic Pelican SVG benchmark where I ask it to draw me a picture of a pelican riding a bicycle. What I've never done before, though, is had it do that in a loop. So it draws the pelican, then looks at what it's drawn and has another go.
So I made this like little platformer. It's just like probably like 3 prompts, and I haven't touched the code at all. So that's been pretty cool. You have to like kind of stomp on the enemies. I'm not very good at this game. So since I added the lava, I've not beat the game yet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some adjustments in order to actually beat it. Keep dying.
I'm coming to it from a practical user point of view in trying to solve an actual problem with this model. What set of problems would I solve? What's the experience?
The original ball prompt was way too easy, so I gave it a significantly harder one. It went a little crazy with it, but it doesn't have many opinions of its own. Steering it makes it do what you tell it to.
I do like how the pelican's feet are on the pedals. That's a rare detail that most of the other models I've tried this on have missed.
I'm taking my product ChatPRD, which is an AI for product managers, and I'm updating the key parts to use the new model. And then I'm comparing inputs and outputs.
The first time, it really nailed all the mechanics, and then it kind of like visually wasn't that interesting, so I just said make it look better. And it added like mountains, it added stars, it added gradients, added like some bloom effects.
The point is that GPT-5 is more agentics. Let's see what it does. So this is make a tic-tac-toe game, and this is 03. It does a pretty basic tic-tac-toe game. This is the same prompts with GPT-5. It's a lot more flashy. It's got sound. And an AI, which I mean, it just beat me. We're gonna draw. Oh, I lost again. I'd love to hear what you feel about GPT-5.
It ran so fast that I didn't think it was actually running the tests.
You know, we had like 30 minutes. I made a personal website. I have like a platformer game. Like I like used it a bunch to improve like our actual app. Like it's a pretty like insane amount of stuff.
I have this Chrome extension I've been working on. I primarily focus on agentic coding, so I want to just test the maximum capability. I think it was much better than other models in terms of adding telemetry, using those telemetry to make inferences, and then fixing those bugs. I think that was the key breakthrough.
I dumped the documentation for my own little Python library for working with LLMs into it, and then told it to build me a script based on this documentation that runs my Pelican benchmark in a loop. The bicycle was flawless. even today, most models have trouble drawing bicycles because most humans have trouble drawing bicycles.
The thing that stood out the most to me was it kind of just did what you told it to, and it wouldn't insert its own things. The system prompt really shapes the behavior.
It is an engineer, like you read the outputs. It's exceptional at code generation. I also had the same experience that on the front end, none of the current models I think have good taste. They all do like AI slop aesthetic, and this one actually kind of one-shotted things that I thought looked nice from a front-end perspective.
It's really good at Tailwind and like good styles. I just handed it an ugly app and said, make this less ugly. The first try did that really well. So it's unopinionated except for gradients and making your websites look nice. Yeah, it's very tasteful with design, I found in general.
When I had it do this little like drawing app, and it like implemented a color picker, and the color picker like worked, and then it had like a thickness slider, and the thickness slider like worked. Like usually I don't see that. When I was making a platformer game, at some point I said like add a jetpack. It added a jetpack, but I had to actually pick up the jetpack, and it like added like a little fuel level. That's pretty cool.
Up until very recently, I've had zero trust in these things. I know that they will hallucinate, all sorts of made up. So I love feeding in raw source code and asking for documentation without giving it any of the existing documentation. And it nailed it. It gave me the exact information I needed. It gave me a full architectural overview. It was clearly very good at consuming 250,000 tokens of Rust. Because for me as a sort of consummate code reviewer, my trust issues are beginning to fall away, yeah.
He's saying GPT-5 is so good he's turning into a vibe coder. That's what I heard.
There we go, that's exactly it.
As a product builder, that was my exact takeaway as well. I was like, this is the first one I would trust to go wild in a pretty large code base.
As an AI collaborative coder, you can actually trust it as a coworker. Like, I think that's ultimately what all of us want.
It's definitely by engineers for engineers. Highly technical, exceptional, instructable, can execute, solves the hard problems. Everybody needs one of these on their team.
Any other parting thoughts? What's next? What's GPT-6?
GPT-5's not just an AI, it's a game changer. Lawyers analyze decades of case law in minutes, coders build apps from scratch, and customer service handles multilingual chats with voice and images. Microsoft embeds it in Copilot and GitHub, making work smarter. Astronomers' Apache Airflow could be orchestrating GPT-5's data pipelines, tying it to our Coldplay scandal vibes. But X-users aren't sold, not AGI, and they cry. Sam Altman admits it's artificial general assistance, not full AGI. With 80% fewer factual errors and 75% less sycophancy, it's still a PhD-level pal. Free users get 10 messages per hour, plus users 160 chats per 3 hours, and pro users rule with GPT-5 Pro, OpenAI's 1.25 per million tokens. Pricing undercuts rivals, but DeepSeek's 0.07 per million looms. But what does having a PhD-level expert really mean for your own AI-powered business and personal activities? What does this mean for the overheated and rapidly evolving AI market?
What was the first experience you had with GPT-5?
When you use GPT-5, you feel the intelligence aspect shine through. It's fast, that it can do things like entire tasks interactively, like refactors, to a degree that feels like it hasn't been possible before. We had run into a pernicious bug in our dev build that affected performance, and used GPT-5 to scope out the initial investigation. Was shocked at the intelligence of the model. If you go back before the era of LLMs, what would have taken someone weeks of onboarding to a code base? GPT-5 did in a couple of minutes.
That is just a wild fact.
Yes.
Just absolutely wild. Well, I feel like today we should show how far this model has come.
Yeah, we're not just going to do kind of a small sketch of a tiny game. It's going to be a real working software application. We have a very nice wireframe here of an application that we're going to try building with GPT-5 and Cursor. We're going to bring this into Cursor, and we're going to put this wireframe in, and we're going to ask GPT-5 to go and try and build an application from scratch. We have been using GPT-5 as our daily driver. When one uses it as a daily driver within Cursor, that's for things like finding bugs, that's for things like planning out a PR, that's for things like in cases where a feature is pretty scoped, actually trying to do it end-to-end with the model over the course of a multi-turn conversation.
So maybe we should take a look at what the model's been up to.
Yes, let's see. Oh my gosh. No, but I mean, that is actually pretty amazing. Fully interactive.
This has come a long way since the napkin of a little joke website.
No holding back, no closing door. This is my
Flying with a roar, teeth sinking deeper, hunger begging for more. Hands up, let it drop, feel the earthquake. Heavy bass line, make your spirit vibrate.